Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Des Roulette and I'm finally posting my review video of my coffee over cardio experience. I did post on my Instagram page about this back in April and we're now in June. Didn't actually end up posting my review video even though I did film all of it because I was having a problem with my ambassador code. So I wanted to make sure if you want to try the product after watching this video, you can make a purchase with my ambassador code and it'll get you 10% off your purchase, which is not a huge amount of money, but I think it's probably helpful. Me personally, I know I'm much more likely to purchase something if I feel like I'm getting a better deal. If I have a discount code, I will randomly Google for discount codes. I'll use discount codes from other influencers that I've never even watched. And originally, when I signed up to be an ambassador, promote their product, I chose the code DESCoffee, filmed the video, and by the time I edited it, I went and tested my code and it didn't work. I wanted to do a little bit of research and I wanted to make sure that I understood why my code wasn't working because I don't want to release a video telling you to use a code and then you go to use the code and it doesn't work because it makes me look unprofessional and it makes them look dishonest. Also because I was buying the creamer, I wanted to be able to review that too, so I'm just going to add that in. If you actually check in the description box, you'll see that I put in some timestamps for your convenience. So if there's only one topic that you want to hear me talk about, just look for the title, click on that timestamp, and it'll take you right to it in the video, and then you can skip all the nonsense. I ended up logging in on the ambassador side of the website, and it showed that my code had been updated to 10 DESCoffee. So unfortunately, this video took a lot longer than I wanted it to. Anyway, a little bit more about the coffee: 0 calorie, non-GMO, organic, high caffeine, and full of clean energy. The owner used to be a Division I athlete. She was working for a bank on Wall Street for about 3 years. She said she was drinking so much coffee and spending so much money on coffee while she was working on Wall Street and exploring all the local coffee shops and culture. And she felt like there was no female presence in the coffee branding world. So she decided that it might be clever to see where that could go if she were to create this brand that was very female driven. She left her job on Wall Street and she decided to create the brand with her fiance. But she launched the brand in December of 2017 and started the brand with only $2,500 and basically within a year was wildly successful. And I think that focusing the brand toward women probably helped a little bit with its exposure as well. So I purchased the new Flavor Coffee sampler pack. It was a 4-pack, 4 flavors, 5 cups in each pack, and I paid $13.16 with shipping. The sampler pack was $9.99 and the shipping to New Jersey was $3.17. So the way that I drank these coffees, each packet basically got me 2 big cups of coffee. And then I did end up going back recently and buying the Smart Start creamer, which was not available when I purchased my coffees. Now, this ended up being way more expensive than I wanted it to be, but I did go back to purchase this. It's very fine powder. It's really sweet. So I bought the vanilla caramel swirl flavor. I believe there's also like a fudge sundae flavor, if I recall correctly. I love chocolate, but just putting a chocolate flavor into my coffee is not my favorite thing because coffee is sort of a savory kind of rich flavor on its own and can sometimes be bitter. I definitely tend to prefer vanilla-based flavors for my coffees rather than chocolate-based flavors. It only has 20 calories per serving, which is 1 scoop, and the scoop does come inside the container, so it's not like you have to measure it. Pretty convenient. 0 grams carbohydrate, so this would be good for maybe the keto diet. I don't eat a keto diet necessarily, but I eat a diet that follows a lot of the keto principles. I just got this. I've only used it once. It was maybe a little sweet for me, like I said, but that's not a big deal because I tend to make my coffee strong. When I filmed the video, I was already done drinking my coffees, but I do have a fresh cup this morning. I'm gonna have my coffee while I edit my video, and I figured that it would be useful for you guys if I added my review of the Smart Start creamer and kind of showed you what it looked like and what my issue with it is. So this is what it looks like inside. It's just this vanilla colored powder and it comes with a scoop, as I mentioned. So I'm not even going to measure this that well. I'm going to use slightly less than 1 full scoop because it is a little sweet for me, as I said. Now, my issue with this creamer is this. It doesn't dissolve. So this is hot coffee. I just brewed this, so this is literally fresh off the burner. So the temperature of my coffee is not playing a part here. I'm going to show you what I found to be the best solution for this problem. This is a milk frother. I bought this from Amazon. I think it was about $6 if I recall correctly. And it's run by a single AAA battery. Basically all you do is press this button and it spins really quickly. This does help. I put a paper towel down because sometimes it spills. That really helps to dissolve the powder creamer a lot better. And I think that the fact that it doesn't dissolve very well is just an effect of it being a powder. I feel like those coffee mate creamers that come in powder form have the same problem. So not the end of the world, not a big deal, but it does add a little bit of extra time to your coffee preparation. And I haven't been able to get it to dissolve well with a spoon at all. So if you don't have a frother, you're going to be dealing with some creamer chunks. Other than that, it's not bad. It tastes good. It is a quick solution for fixing your coffee. Probably not worth the price unless you're getting it in a bundle or as a deal or with a really great coupon, or if you're just rolling in dough. But if you did want to try it or you were able to get your hands on some, I would generally recommend it. Just bear in mind those two things. A little bit pricey and its ability to dissolve is slightly lacking. And there's only 4.87 ounces of creamer in here. So I don't think I'll be getting this again, but I will absolutely get the coffees again. And I'm going to just insert the reviews. This is the Workflow High Buzzed coffee. So I brewed a half carafe. I used the entire packet, the sampler packet. I don't actually know how many cups are in the half carafe in my Ninja machine, and I have a feeling that it's going to be a little strong. So we're gonna find out based on my reaction. I added a little bit of half and half, 2 packets of Truvia. I didn't add anything flavored because I didn't want to change the flavor of the coffee itself. Here we go. Okay. It's really strong. I brewed it also on the rich cycle. On the Ninja coffee machine, you have the option to brew either classic or rich. It is strong, but it actually has a pretty nice flavor. This is actually really good so far. So I'll come back and I will let you know how it made me feel throughout the day and whether or not I would recommend it based on the effects. So far, flavor-wise, I would recommend it. It was very effective. I don't know if it was just a good day for me physically or if the coffee did have something to do with it, but if I had to guess, I would say that the coffee probably had something to do with it because it was very strong. And while still tasting strong, it tasted very pleasant. It wasn't bitter. I was thinking about the best way to describe it because typically strong coffee, it almost has that muddy sort of bitterness on the back end, sort of hits you in the back of the palate. This coffee did not have that bitterness. I'd never even heard of this coffee before. I was pleasantly surprised, but buttoning it up. The Workflow High Buzzed coffee tasted good, and I believe that it kept me energized throughout the day. I didn't have a lull where about halfway through the day, I become so exhausted that I can barely keep my eyes open. And I mean that really literally, like sitting at my desk, really nodding off. This did not happen yesterday. In fact, I was up editing until about 10 p.m. and up then until about 11:30 or 12, adding the thumbnail, things like that. And I felt pretty good. And this morning, I woke up at 7:30 and was ready to get out of bed, which is amazing because normally I wake up at 8:30 and feel near death. Day 2 of coffee over cardio. Today I am trying Messy Bun Cinnamon Bun, which I haven't tasted yet because I want to be honest with you guys. So yes, Messy Bun Cinnamon Bun. It smells nice. I definitely smell a little bit of that cinnamon flavor. I smell like a sweet cinnamon, and it's mild, but it's there. I added 1 packet of Truvia and a little bit of half and half. The flavor is very mild. Again, the coffee is still pretty good. It doesn't also really have that bitterness. I'm not really tasting the cinnamon bun flavor really at all. So I just added another Truvia, and that does kind of help open up the flavor a little bit more. So I do get a little bit of that cinnamon bun flavor. It doesn't have the sweetness of a cinnamon bun. So let's just deconstruct the cinnamon bun and picture that sort of spread that would go inside the circle, that sort of cinnamon sugar combination. That's more of what I'm getting, and it's still very, very mild. So I'm not really getting like that buttery, doughy flavor. It's more of just a pinch of cinnamon. But it's nice. Cinnamon can be bitter and spicy as well. This doesn't really have the bitterness or the spiciness of cinnamon, but it just has the touch of cinnamon flavor. Ultimately, I think it's pretty good. I'll definitely drink at least this whole cup. It's about this size. It's not actually that huge. But I'll usually end up having about 2 of these, and then the rest of the coffee, I'll let it cool down. I'll stick it in a mason jar, put it in the fridge, drink it as an iced coffee later in the week. So I will still be starting tomorrow morning with a nice hot cup of fresh coffee, continuing my review. I did finish more than half of my carafe yesterday, and the remainder I put into a mason jar and I stuck it in the fridge so I can make some iced coffee. As far as how the coffee makes me feel, again, I am still pretty consistently feeling good this week. Don't know if it's my body, don't know if it's the coffee, but 3rd day in a row, if I feel today the way I felt the past 2 days, then I might have to give credit to the coffee. If it is the coffee, that's exciting because I can just keep myself stocked with this coffee and expect to feel good on a pretty constant basis, which would be amazing. Okay, so I am here today on Wednesday morning, my 3rd day of the Coffee Over Cardio First Impression Review Series. Today I'm trying the birthday cake flavor. That's 4 cakes. I had to count. I've just brewed a almost full carafe. So past couple days I've been trying to figure out what the best ratio of grounds to coffee brew water is. And the first day I did a half carafe and it was a little too strong, and the second day I did a full carafe and it was a little bit too light. So today I brewed almost a full carafe. I brewed pretty much halfway between the half carafe and the full carafe in my Ninja coffee bar. So we're going to see how it tastes today. My coffee cups are about the same size every day. I added 2 Truvias, a little bit of lightener just to give it that light brown color. We're going to try this birthday cake for the first time. That's pretty good. So I seem to have found the sweet spot with my brewing, kind of adding enough water that it's halfway between the half carafe and the full carafe. This is pretty good. The flavor is a little muted, which was the same issue yesterday, and honestly, that's usually what happens with flavored coffees anyway. It doesn't punch you in the face, but it still has that really pleasant scent. Flavor-wise, it's enjoyable. So I'm still gonna finish this. We've got one more day. Tomorrow is our last day of First Impressions, First Taste, Coffee Over Cardio series. And I think tomorrow's flavor has something to do with a donut, which sounds lovely. I haven't had a donut in a very long time, but I love donuts. So hopefully tomorrow's coffee will actually taste like a donut and satisfy that craving for me. But I will let you know. We will find out together. So today is my 4th and final day of my Coffee Over Cardio sampler pack, and today's flavor is Saturdaze chocolate donut. It smells really good. When I opened the package, I had the best olfactory experience out of the 4. The first one that I had was just the plain coffee, so that one wasn't flavored at all. But for the 3 flavors that I have had, this one has smelled the best. Haven't tasted it yet because I'm staying true to what I've been doing thus far, and I'm taking my first sip on camera. Large mug today. This is my husband's mug. It has something to do with sports. I think it's football. Anyway, there's also this spot down here that I broke it when I dropped it in the sink. It's a little strong. I had added 2 Truvia to this cup with some half and half. Now I'm gonna add another sweetener, so we'll see if that helps. But it's not bad by any stretch of the word. Again, as far as the flavor is concerned, I'm not really getting that specific donut flavor. Even the coffee smell after it's brewed is not as strong as it was when I first opened the beans. I think that I can deduce thus far that the flavored coffee is more for the experience of the smell of when you open the package, when you're preparing the coffee, that it has this very pleasant, relevant smell that's very similar to what they're describing. But when you actually drink it, you don't get very much of that. It doesn't really bother me that these coffees don't exactly taste the way that they're labeled, because it's still good. I mean, it's still good coffee. So that was after adding the 3rd sweetener. Definitely helps. Even though it doesn't taste like a donut, it still tastes pretty good, so I'm not mad about it. And the other coffees that I've tried so far this week have been really effective with helping me feel awake, energetic, up, and not jittery, and not to worry about having that mid-afternoon crash where all of your energy just sinks. Lucky for me, that has not been the case this week with this coffee. I don't know if it's because I tend to drink a couple glasses throughout the entire span of the morning. However, I always do that. So if any sort of regular, bigger brand coffees like Dunkin' Donuts, Starbucks, that I would drink on a more regular basis, I would still always be subject to that mid-afternoon crash. Whereas these coffees don't seem to have had that effect. So I do feel a lot more low energy today than I have throughout the week. That's something that just happens with my body, so I'm not going to think too hard about it or wonder if it has anything to do with the coffee. Thinking back on it now, I can't remember how I felt about each coffee each day, except that I remember that the high caffeine coffee was my favorite. So basically that's it. Thank you for watching my review video. I would definitely recommend that you try the Coffee Over Cardio brand. I like what they're doing. Their coffees do taste very clean. I don't know if I mentioned that in any of my earlier videos, but sometimes like when you get like Dunkin' Donuts coffee, for example, whether it's brewed in the store or you buy the grounds and you make it yourself, it always tastes kind of muddy to me. And I know coffee can be bitter, coffee can be muddy, but I don't like that. I would prefer to source coffee and find coffee that is not muddy. I want coffee that tastes clean and tastes very fresh, and this definitely does. It definitely hits the mark. I'm not sure if they still have the sampler packs now. It's been a couple months since I actually bought them. That was the first that I had heard of the brand, and I kind of took a chance on it, knowing that I wanted to post this video, because when I was looking for Coffee Over Cardio reviews, I only found a couple. None of them included a sample pack, if I recall correctly. So I just wanted to give a quick rundown of what my experience was. Probably worth a shot to try it once or twice, and if you want to use my code for 10% off, it is 10DESCoffee, and I will put that in the description box, and hopefully I'm displaying it on the screen right now, and if not, just ask. So thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.